Okay, how are we all doing? Hope you guys have been enjoying the class overall. The next section that we're going to look at is on pathogenicity and also some elements of genetics. Pathogens are anything that can cause disease in not just humans, but any organism, if you will. Uh, but the type of pathogen it obviously can vary greatly, all the way from fungi to bacteria to viruses to even to prions, which are proteins. And the host they infect is all over the map. Uh, we're not going to really look at what kind of diseases these things cause, but obviously we're interested in the effects on the host. So some outcomes can just be the death of the host, which obviously has a great effect on the host itself. But if we're talking about things like crops that support the billions of humans that are on the planet, that can obviously be a concern if we start running out of some of the most important crops that we rely on every day. Other things to think about are the interactions between these pathogens or parasites and the host. So, do they simply just kill the host off? Do they have long-term effects that doesn't kill the host but affects their lifestyle? Does it have the ability to change our DNA like some viruses do? They can insert their viral elements into our DNA, and that's an irreversible effect. Now, those usually cannot be passed down through generations. It could just be somatic mutations, but there could be some examples that are passed down. If you look at our genome, it's littered with the remnants of all sorts of viruses that are not active anymore. But what effect has that had on our genome evolution over time? Other pathogens have the ability to change the behavior of their host. So you can look on the internet for zombie viruses or things like that can actually take over the insect that they infect and change their behavior, which is kind of cool. Or for a good human example, look at rabies. The rabies virus, some of the symptoms that it causes actually help to pass the virus on to other hosts. So that's what this section is about. These pathogens, their interaction with the host, how they change the host, either in the short term or long term, the diseases they cause, and the overall effect of how they change our balance. Obviously, if things are destroying tissues inside the host, that's going to have a great effect. So if you look at hepatitis or something like that, that can lead to organ failure, that's going to have a pretty obvious change on the host. So that's kind of why I put this section in there. These diseases, what effect do they have on us? How do we combat them? Some of them have vaccines that we can use. Some don't have any cure, like the HIV infections. And then this overall idea of how they could affect our genome, how that could affect populations over time, if they're heritable to the next generation. And then again, of course, the whole idea of balance between inside our bodies and between populations and ecosystems. So kind of an interesting section. I also put gene therapy in this section. Not that I necessarily think it's a bad thing, but it is a way to change the genome, and that could be heritable. So there's some interesting slides on, sorry, interesting slides on the I can't think of the word now. Sorry, the ethics, that's the word, of gene therapy and some of the longer term effects that we want to think about. So, have fun.